She pointed her little flashlight at my face and yelled like she owned the whole street. "Step back. We're the HOA patrol. You're breaking our rules." I almost laughed because we didn't even have an HOA. But three strangers in cheap black vests were standing in my yard at midnight, shining lights at my windows like they were hunting something. And their leader, the Karen with the sharp haircut, kept waving a clipboard like it was a badge. She moved closer, heels sinking into my gravel. "Turn around," she barked. "We gotta report someone here is storing weapons." My jaw tightened. My daughter was sleeping inside. My land, my home, my right. And these people were trespassing like it was nothing. "I warned you earlier," I said, keeping my voice calm. "Leave my property." Karen smirked. "You don't tell me what to do. This neighborhood has rules, and you're about to learn them." Two of the men started walking toward my shed, pulling at the latch like they owned it. I felt a slow burn rise in my chest. They had no warrant, no authority, not even a real uniform. Fake patches, fake badges, fake everything. And then Karen did the thing that flipped the whole night. She pulled out a red sticker and slapped it on my door. "Emergency HOA eviction," she announced, loud enough for half the street to hear. "You're not allowed to live here anymore. We'll remove you by force if needed." For a moment, the yard went silent. Even the crickets stopped. I gave them one last warning. One last chance. "Walk away," I said quietly. "Right now." Karen stepped right up to me, breath full of cheap perfume. "Make me." That was it. That was the moment the whole story cracked open. I reached inside the doorway, slow and steady, and they watched my hand disappear into the shadows. Karen's grin faded when she heard the metal. The heavy click she definitely wasn't expecting. Her voice cracked. "What is that?" I lifted it into the porch light just enough for them to see the outline. "My shotgun," I said. "And it speaks louder than you do." The two men froze. Karen tried to stand tall, but her knees gave a tiny shake. Still, she whispered, You wouldn't dare." I stepped forward. "Try me." And that was when everything went from bad to unbelievable. The moment I stepped forward, the whole group jumped back like the ground under them moved. But Karen, she still tried to act brave, even though her hands were shaking so hard the clipboard almost slipped. "Put that thing down," she stuttered. We called backup. Real HOA officers are on the way." I almost smiled. "Good, I'd like to meet them." One of the men finally found his voice. "You can't threaten us. We're just doing our job." "No," I said. "You're trespassing on private land at midnight. And you threatened my home." The porch light flickered, old wiring. The shadows stretched across their faces, making them look even more unsure, more exposed. Karen darted her eyes toward the street like she expected someone to appear and save her. That's when a white van turned the corner, slow and quiet. No logos, no plates. Its headlights cut across the yard and stopped right on me and my shotgun. Karen straightened, suddenly confident again. "They're here," she whispered. Like reinforcements just arrived in some war movie, 3 more people stepped out of the van. Same fake badges, same cheap vests. One of them held zip ties like he planned to use them. They walked toward my driveway without a word. My blood went cold, not from fear, but from what this meant. This wasn't just some HOA prank. This was organized, planned, and way too bold for something legal. My finger stayed off the trigger, but my stance didn't change. "This is your last warning," I said. "Turn around. Every one of you." Karen threw her head back and laughed. "You think we're scared of a gun? Honey, we've removed bigger problems than you." My teeth clenched. My daughter's bedroom window was behind me. I felt its weight like someone pressing on my chest. The tallest guy from the van stepped forward. "Put the weapon down," he ordered. "We need to check your house." "No, you don't." He smirked. "We have authority." I shook my head. "You picked the wrong house." He pulled something from his vest, a fake HOA enforcement warrant, printed on cheap paper. He held it up like it meant something. "See?" I didn't even look at the paper. My eyes were on his fingertips because he wasn't nervous. He moved like someone trained, someone used to pushing people around. Karen whispered to him, "He thinks he can scare us." He nodded. "We'll handle him." And that's when I heard it. The soft click of a door opening behind me. My daughter? No. A firmer step. Calm, slow, controlled. A voice came from the darkness of the hallway behind me. "Lower the weapon, sweetheart. I'll take it from here." Karen's face twisted. Who is that? The silhouette stepped into the light, and every fake officer froze like their bodies shut down, because they recognized her. They knew her. And suddenly they weren't brave anymore. She walked past me, eyes locked on the intruders, and said in a steady voice that cut through the night, "You're impersonating officers. On the property of a former military investigator and the current trainer for the county sheriff's tactical unit." The men stepped back hard. Karen's mouth opened, but no sound came out. My wife glanced at me, then at them. "Let's see how tough your HOA patrol feels now." Everything in the yard shifted. The power, the fear, the truth. And the night was only getting started. The whole group started backing up, step by shaky step, like they finally realized they weren't the hunters tonight. They were the prey. My wife kept walking forward, calm as ice. Like every breath she took pushed them closer to the edge of panic. Karen tried to gather her voice. "What we didn't know. You were—" My wife cut her off. "You didn't know anything. You showed up in the middle of the night with fake badges, fake authority, and a fake eviction notice. Against a family you thought couldn't fight back." The tall man lifted his hands like surrender might save him. "Look, we were just—" "No," she said. "Don't lie again. I trained half the real officers in this county. I know a criminal operation when I see one." Then she did something simple, but it dropped every ounce of air out of the night. She held up her phone, screen glowing. A live call. On speaker, the sheriff's department logo clear as day. A voice on the other end said, "We're 2 minutes out. Hold position." Karen's knees buckled.
"You called the real cops on us?"
My wife tilted her head. "No, they've been on the call this whole time. You all walked into a recorded sting the moment you stepped on my porch." The men panicked. One ran toward the van, but the sound of sirens hit the night before he reached the door. Blue and red lights washed over the houses, flooding the street with a truth they couldn't outrun. 3 cruisers slid in, doors flying open. Real badges, real officers, real law. The tall man dropped to his knees. The others followed fast. Karen stayed frozen, hands shaking, mascara streaking down her cheek. The sheriff himself walked over, eyes burning holes through the fake badges on their vests. "You idiots again?" he growled. "We warned you last time. Impersonating law enforcement. Harassing families, trespassing, illegal searches." He looked at me and my wife. "You did good. We'll handle the rest." The officers cuffed every one of them, reading charges they couldn't even deny anymore because everything was on camera. My porch cam, my wife's body cam, even the neighbor's doorbell cam. Karen screamed as they walked her to the cruiser. "You can't arrest me. I was just trying to enforce order." The sheriff stopped, turned to her, and said the line that ended everything. "The only thing you enforced was your own stupidity." They shut the door. Silence returned to the street. Finally, my wife turned to me, brushing dust off her hands. "You okay?" I nodded. "I was, because I knew you'd step in." She smirked. "And your shotgun?" I glanced at it. "Well, it spoke just loud enough." She laughed softly and wrapped her arm around me as we walked back inside. My daughter was still sleeping, safe and untouched. Like the world hadn't nearly turned upside down outside her window. Before I closed the door, I took one last look at the empty street. Calm again, peaceful again. My land, my home, my freedom. And I thought to myself, I didn't serve this country so fake officers could tell me I can't live on my own land. Justice was served. Family was safe. And the night finally ended the way it was supposed to, with the bad guys in cuffs and the good ones still standing.